Like I just a couple of weeks ago took Bernard away for a weekend to celebrate his birthday. It seems definitely now that we've had these life-changing, potentially altering events that we do more things together. And so we went to New York and saw for the first time together a Broadway show, right? But it took me a few months to plan that. We planned for our children for their education. We planned for family reunions. But are we planning about the healthcare we want as we age? We all know that advanced care planning really is about giving our family, number one, that gift of conversation, and then making a decision around who's going to speak for you. We challenge our communities when I'm with the church members and with other community members to think about who is that person in your family that you trust to honor what you want. It may not be the person who's closest to you. It might mean that you choose someone else who is not going to feel pressured when the other family members come to them say, no, 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 we don't want that to happen. She wouldn't have wanted that. I pray for my husband because I have four sisters and they are very bossy. And if something happens to me, they are going to be all over him about the decisions. So make sure that the person you choose to be your healthcare agent is a person that you feel, no matter what the pressures are around what may be happening, they're going to hold fast to what you told them you wanted and what you wrote. And then, of course, you want to put your plans in writing. Next slide. So we already know that not enough people are talking. 90% of the people think it's important, but only 30% have had the conversation. We know that the Conversation Project has done some recent surveys, and we've come up a little bit in the percentages, but still it's flip-flop. It's not even 50% yet. 82% of the people say it's important to put their wishes in writing, but only 23% have done so. I will tell you that from recent studies, and I did not put it in here, that 56% of the people that were surveyed in 2018 said that they are ready now. They would love to have they would love for their loved one to begin a conversation with them. So there is that piece where we've seen a change even there. And then many people store their advance directives in unlocked boxes or inaccessible locations. We cite here that fewer than 13% of patients who are 65 and older that were admitted to UNC's emergency room had an advanced care document that was available in the EHR. So once again, we are working on these kinds of things, but first getting people to chat, talk about what they want, and then also to document their wishes. Next slide, Heather. Thank you. So why are we not having conversations? These are the kinds of things that I want to let you know, and some of these may resonate with you. They resonate a lot with the communities that we're chatting with, that if I talk about it, I'll make dying happen too soon. In my particular culture, in my family culture, as well as with African Americans, there is this myth out there that if we talk too much about dying, we're going to cause somebody to go quicker and they're going to have to be buried real soon. And so we're trying to dispel these myths that only old people need to have an advance directive, or only someone who's sick needs to have an advance directive. An advance directive should be done by anyone who's 18 years and older. Young people are dying just as well as older people, and not all the people who are dying because they were sick. We also think that I won't get any more treatment if I have a directive. The directive really, as you talk with community members, is really to help ensure that they get the treatment that they want. And then also, my doctor, my family knows what I want. I don't know why we think that people are in our head, that they know what we would want when we haven't uttered what we want yet. And so we can't assume that the doctor's going to know, and we can't assume that our family's going to know either. And then if I name someone as my healthcare agent, several years ago, I was involved with an AARP town hall event in South Carolina. And one of the questions that came up from the participants. There were 14,000 people that were on this call. We were talking about immunizations, and there was a small piece there about advanced directives that I was a part of the panel. And the number one thing that came up from the people who called in is, if I have a directive, will I lose control of my care? You never lose control as long as you have medical decision-making capacity. And that is the thing that people sometimes, they aren't used to writing things out, and they're feeling that someone's going to take over even when they're still able to direct their care. Next slide. And so there are some barriers in terms of having these conversations. The fear of dying, the lack of knowledge or experience, the cultural and spiritual considerations, why people don't have these conversations. I hear a lot from our Hispanic and Latino community members that it's very similar to them, that this isn't a topic that is discussed a lot culturally among their family members. Then there is the lack of trust in terms of, is the physician trying to get me to do something that I don't want to do? Because there's a lack of trust in our African American communities based on historical things that have happened with healthcare considerations. Or that it's a barrier because the physician's in a hurry. Last night, Dr. Johnson did an amazing talk with her lecture. And one of the things that she cited, that the churches that she's doing surveys with, that the physician's in a hurry and doesn't have time to talk with me. There are those disagreement about decisions. And then the desire to maintain hope. If I put this down and I'm believing for God to do an intervention in terms of healing me, this document then takes away my hope that that might happen. And so we want to frame hope for people, that hope is not just about my physical cure, but hope is also about that I am going to receive the care that I desire, and I'm going to my family's going to honor what matters most to me. Family role issues. I can tell you that my grandpa, John Henry, that you saw his picture, he was in charge of our family. He had 10 children, and he was very clear about he was in charge. There was none of this compromise. Let's have a discussion. No, if John Henry said what you needed to be doing, that is exactly what you should be doing. And then ethical dilemmas come up as well. I can't even begin to imagine making a decision for a child, if I'm a mother or a parent, that it's time to stop the treatments, right? That it's not working. And so those are issues sometimes that are tough for us to deal with. Next slide. So this is what we propose to communities. And as you are talking with people, and I'm sure many of you are doing outreach, we have just a very simple 4-step plan as we are doing this work in communities through the Health Sciences Innovation Group. We're really grateful to the License to Give Trust Fund for the opportunity to really impact rural communities with this information. So we encourage people to think about their choices, what is important to them, to talk about their decisions with their loved ones, with their physician, and their spiritual advisors, to put their plans in writing, and then to find a place to store their documents. And we're going to talk about that we have an opportunity for that in the Carolinas by utilizing the Mind My Health platform, which is live and doing well in the Carolinas, and can be used by anyone across the country because it is a cloud-based system.